Hey everyone, welcome to the first edition of Academy Standouts for the 2021 Summer Split. We are back. I did these towards the end of Spring Split, and I was doing Academy and Amateur Standouts then. This split, I'm going back to covering only Academy in these Standouts articles and videos, and that's mostly just because Academy has switched over to a best-of-2 format, so each Academy team is playing 4 games per week. And there's just a lot more to cover and a lot more to focus on. And I want to make sure that I'm doing justice to the Academy players with the amount of attention I put into the games they're playing. So I'm still watching Amateur, but sometimes I'm a little bit lagged behind on some of those VODs. And I want to make sure that the Academy players are getting the right amount of attention. So going back to doing just Academy standouts. And for amateur coverage, I'll still be covering those now and then, probably just on a less regular cycle. And still contributing in other ways to that coverage. Make sure you check out esports.mobalytics.gg for official NA amateur circuit information. And there's top prospect lists there and other things like that. So you can check in there. And the Proving Grounds podcast and the guys over there do some really great coverage as well. So make sure you check those out. But let's stay on target here and talk about Academy standouts for week 1 of the summer split. So the first player that I'd like to highlight was Contracts, the jungler for Evil Geniuses Academy. And this is a guy who, we're starting a new split, so let's go back to a little bit of an overview take on him. I thought he was very much an LCS quality jungler last year in the summer split. I think throughout spring he showed that he is one of the best junglers in the entire Academy and amateur system, if not maybe the best playing at this level right now. And he had a massive week 1. EG went 3-1 overall, I believe. But for his own performance, he played 4 games on AP carry junglers, Diana in Italy, and he played Rumble twice. Over 1,600 gold plus experience difference in 10 minutes and across 4 games. Like, to get that number for 1 game is like, okay, you had a really good game. To do it across 4 games is really nuts. Super high kill participation, tons of damage output. He really was carrying his team the best he could. The game he lost, I mean, there were other things on the team that were going wrong, but Contracts had a huge week, continuing to make a case that he is more than an Academy jungler and is by far high enough quality to be playing in the LCS right now. The other 2 players that I want to highlight in the top 3, Yon and Ayla. I'll talk about them together because they are a duo lane together for Team Liquid Academy. And TLA went 4-0 in that first week. And I think the main thing that stood out to me was, especially in their first series against TSM Academy, TSM really went at Yon and Ayla with their picks and their rotational play and trying to dive them and just force ganks into them over and over. And Yon and Ayla handled it so well. They turned things back. They managed to still kind of carry the games from that position, and I was really, really impressed by that. And I think Yon is a player who I've had an eye on. He came out of 2020 with his profile as kind of being more of a supportive bot laner, which I think largely came from playing with players like Tenacity and Kenvi, who were drawing a lot more of attention and playing strong side top strategies, and he ended up being kind of more of a backseat player, but he's really been showing more of the carry side of his play, and still showing he can absorb pressure really well and rounding out his play. So, and Ayla did some good stuff on Leona and Nautilus, again with that kind of gank resistance or dive resistance and some engage play and all that. And all around, I just thought these 2 guys had a really great showing, and the rest of the team around them, were a little bit more up and down. I'd say every player on TLA had, of the other 3 with Jenkins, Harry, and Armeo, they had, good games, and then some where they're a little quieter, and Yon and Ayla were kind of the anchor point throughout all 4. So I wanted to shout those 2 guys out. I think those were the 3 players who stood out to me the most. And some others who stood out, and I haven't, I'm a little bit behind this week, so I didn't have time to throw together kind of more detailed comments about each of these other 7 players, but others who had, a mix of pretty strong games. And usually when players who end up in this kind of additional standouts list, it's people who had 1 or 2 really strong games, and then maybe a couple of quiet ones, or were like consistently just above average the whole time. So I look for kind of a mix of consistency and pop-off showings to get onto this list. And Armeo from TLA made on the list. I think Kenvi and Tenacity, both of them as a duo from 100 Thieves Academy. I thought Mystiques was pretty good for EGA. And then NXI and Surenfire each in the jungle for their teams for FlyQuest and Cloud9 respectively. did pretty well also. So that's my list of the players who, if you want to go back and watch some VODs, those are the ones to kind of look out for who played well. And I'm intending that by week 2 I'll have a sentence or two for each of those players as well that I'll be able to talk through in more detail. But I wanted to make sure, just because I was running behind this week, that I got this out in time for everybody to take a look before week 2 of Academy starts up again for Wednesday and Thursday, which is tomorrow. If you're watching the video the day it goes out. So that's Academy Standouts for week 1, and look forward to more Academy coverage as the split plays out. Thanks for watching.